Countdown.
2, 1. Go.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our 2 cents, very special episode, actually, our 100th episode.
100.
And some of you may not know this if you're listening, but you might know this if you're watching. But one of our special things that we decided to do for this episode is actually do a video recording, which I'm waving to the camera right now. So you could not only listen to us today, you could actually watch us if you're curious what looks and happens behind the scenes of our 2 cents on a weekly basis.
I'm feeling a little like spied on, like somebody's looking over my shoulder.
Well, it's right there. I see the camera.
Yeah, I see it too.
Yep. So, we're going to have a pretty, I think, great show here lined up for you. For our 100th episode, we sat down, especially producer Katie, and said to ourselves, what could we do that would make this a fun episode? And so we decided to do a little bit of a montage of best of episodes.
Nice word.
Top listenership for different episodes, which ones were our favorite. We'll give you a little recap. But what's also interesting, looking back at some of these that we had dug up from the past 100 episodes.
Wait, I've got to put you on hold, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Because I would like to thank everybody for 100 episodes.
Oh gosh, absolutely.
Right? Thank you, folks. Both of us, the whole team here can't tell you how much we appreciate your listening and your being with us and part of our family, and thank you very much.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
And as a celebration, I'm going to have one of our SGL home-baked, every day in the office cookies.
For breakfast.
And
because it's early this morning.
I'm starving.
No.
And I'll go.
All right, well, while Steve's chewing his cookie over there, what I was going to say is that it's really interesting as we look back at some of the topics of some of these hand-picked best of episodes. We can chat a little bit about what we talked about at the time, and then also what's shifted since then. Some of the topics we talked about, obviously in hindsight, we can take a much different perspective on than we could have at the time. And that's, I think, a good analogy for investing in general, right? Hindsight is always really easy, right? To look back and say, wow, we should have done this or we should have done that. But it's really hard. And you're going to see that with some of the show topics that we talked about here today.
It's been an interesting journey, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun too, and let's go and have more fun.
Absolutely. So the other big announcement for today's show is, as a big thank you for being such valued listeners, we've got a $100 in celebration of our 100th episode raffle for 3 winners that text the code WIN at the end of the show, which I wasn't supposed to say that just yet.
Now we have to change the code.
Well,
you see, this is the problem I have. Folks.
I misread the instructions.
This is what I have to deal with.
I was just looking at my sheet and I said WIN. Oops. Oh well. No. Well, hopefully you still listen to the whole episode anyway.
What's the new code, Kate?
So I spoiled it, but that's okay. I hope you listen to the show anyways. We were going to have you hang on to the end in suspense. But
we were going to do one of those marketing things where you got to listen through the end of the show, even if you're bored stiff, and get the code.
With the phone number at the end.
Gabriel's such a nice guy.
Now you just know it in advance. So yeah, if you text the code. Well, actually, to be fair, I haven't given you the number of where to text the code yet, too. Oh, that's a good point. No, we can still do this. So yeah, you've got to hang on till the end of the show here, and I'll give you the the phone number to text the code WIN to, which will enable you to get into a raffle to win $100.
Yeah, that's called a good recovery, folks.
Well, I'm glad I caught that. Well, okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. So the first thing we're going to talk about here are the top, according to you, our listeners, the top 3 favorite episodes that you've liked to listen to based on numbers of total listens over the year.
Were you surprised by these?
A little bit, but it's interesting because I don't know if people listen just because they're interested in the topic, or they listen every time, or if they listen just when they get around to listening.
Get it? Yeah.
But it is always interesting to see. So we actually, for spot number 3 of the top 3 episodes, we actually had a tie. Okay, so the top 2 episodes for number 3 was episode 90, so that was maybe a couple months ago. Economic Predictions and Happiness Indicators, back in February 6, 2022. And then episode 95 was the murkiest issues in retirement planning.
Yeah, so two of the more recent episodes were listeners. Listeners were interested in that.
Yeah.
You think that had to do with the market?
Probably,
Yeah.
because in February the market had already started exhibiting a little bit of chop, if you will. And so what did we talk about on that episode in particular, I think is the interesting one. GDP growth forecast. Do we see a recession on the horizon? What's changed?
What did we say?
That's a good question.
We probably said we don't know, that there are a lot of economic problems and something's going to come back to haunt us sooner or later.
Well, I will say back in February, people were not using the recession word, and guess what is being thrown around very, very commonly right now?
The big R.
The recession word, okay? So very interesting. The second topic of that episode was the housing market. And the question was, will we see it cooling off this year or even a bubble forming that will burst? Well, fast forward 4 or 5 months, and what are we looking at, Dad?
It's softening. It's not a bubble burst.
Not yet.
It's just softening a little bit, but things are still going pretty hot. The problem in the real estate market is there's just not enough real estate to keep up with the demand. So that's what's keeping the bubble bubbled.
Bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we talked about inflation. Will it continue to rise or will it come back down by year end? Well, so far it's been fairly level.
It'll come down.
I think it'll come down.
Eventually.
Fed's raising rates.
Yep.
And then we had talked a little bit about the great resignation. What impact the current labor shortage was going to have on the work environment.
Well, this is an amazing occurrence because COVID drove people into retirement.
Yeah.
They said, the heck with it, I'm done, let's retire. So now there's a shortage of labor out there.
Yeah, so that's holding true so far this year.
Yep.
Which is pretty interesting. So I would say our predictions, I don't remember what we predicted, but they have been evolving.
Well, we're kind of cowards on predictions because we don't that's because we're always wrong. So
people are always wrong.
But I think we set up the structure of what could happen and what might happen based on certain economic structures.
Yeah, and I think there's no better example of how wrong people that make predictions are than there is right now, because anything, I scroll through, all these news sites, and so I see all these articles about financial predictions, and I see 50% of the predictions are saying there's going to be a recession, here's why. The other 50% are, here's why there's not going to be a recession.
Well, a recovery this year, 50% saying, the end of the year is going to be great.
So nobody knows.
Yeah.
Once again, very interesting.
Yep.
Okay, so that was our number 3 most popular episode. And number 2 was the episode 89, actually, Don't Fumble in the Retirement Red Zone. Okay, so that was January 3, 2022. Okay, so we talked a little bit about what the retirement red zone was. And do you recall what that was, Mr. Lewitt?
Let me see. Well, there are 2 definitions. Some people say it's 5 years before and after you retire, and some people say it's 10 years before and after. We look at it at 10 years.
Yeah.
Before and after you retire, that's your danger zone. And do you recall, Mr. Gabriel, why it's dangerous?
Well, you don't want to fumble the ball in the red zone, Mr. Lewitt.
And what would fumble the ball look like economically and financially?
Well, that would be making mistakes right before your planned retirement.
Yep,
like losing money.
Like retiring today and January.
Well, and oddly enough, we did that in January 3rd, which was right before the market started to tank. And so I'm hoping if you're, I know you didn't if you're a client of ours, we protect your football from fumbling, but if you were out there, hopefully you didn't fumble the ball as you were entering the retirement red zone.
Yeah, I would say that a little differently. We do protect them from fumbling. That's like a tongue twister. But built into everybody's plan is the fumble. So we have in everybody's plan a stress test that duplicates what happened in 2001 and 2, where the market went down 11, 15, and 22, something like that. And that's already built into everybody's plan. So in a sense, we forecasted, if we want to take credit for it, losing money this year for everybody.
Well, I would say a little bit differently.
Of course you would.
We basically want to make sure that no matter what happens, good or bad, you're still going to be okay.
Yes.
And so we test for that in our plans. And so when things like what's happening right now to start this year actually occurs, you hopefully won't worry about it because you know that we've already basically planned ahead for that potential scenario.
I think the audience would agree that I said that same thing and you just reframed the words and didn't add anything new to it.
I think we said
I think
similar but different things.
Folks, when you text in,
Just teasing, guys.
just teasing.
Fine, yours is better. There, is that
Okay.
helpful?
Well,
Okay, and then what else did we talk about in that episode? We had this was cool. We had a fun segment that we did where we had trying to complete each other's sentences. And we should do that again, producer Katie. I think
that actually,
we forgot about
I
that.
forgot about that. That was
We've
great.
got to dig back into some of these more often.
Yeah, I love that.
So I wonder if we ask the same ones now, if we'd say the same answer. Probably not.
Why don't you do one?
Okay, one of them was the best way to be sure you don't run out of money in retirement is to blank. I bet you answered this the same.
Have a plan.
I don't know if that's what you said before, but I bet it is.
Yeah, and you too, right?
Most likely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How about one more? The stock market has the ability to blank.
I know what you said. Go up and down.
It sounds like something I would say.
Yeah.
Because that's what it does.
Yeah, we don't rehearse this, by the way. It's just in our blood.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention, early on, if you're still wondering what else we're going to cover here on the show, we're going to do a blind questions I've got questions picked out for Steve to answer.
Today,
Yeah. And you've got some on there for me to answer.
I do.
You do. And then we're going to get to those a little bit later.
Okay.
Producer Katie picked them out for you because I don't think you looked at them yet, but I don't know what they are, so they're still blind.
Okay.
So-
I'm in 100%.
So that could be a little bit of fun. So stay tuned for that because usually we do prep and we know what we're talking about here on the show. Okay, well, and the number one favorite listener episode, folks, drum roll. Okay, we've got. Well, this one's kind of boring. The Illinois Fair Tax Act
Yeah.
and the market's reaction to the election back on September 20th, 2022, episode number 48.
Yeah, politics drew a lot of people. Yeah.
Apparently. Well, what were we discussing? We were discussing a constitutional amendment at the time to permit a graduated rate income tax, which I believe got voted down.
It sure did.
You know, and then there were some predictions of how the market would react after the next presidential election.
Yeah, we had the same, just before Trump was elected, like everybody predicted the market would tank.
Yeah.
And they were all total. We had people going to cash, not us, not our clients, but we knew people going totally to cash when Trump was elected, thinking they're going to time the market. And of course, they got that all wrong. And when Biden was elected, the same thing. People thought, oh, this is the end of the world. And that didn't happen either. So
Yeah.
who knows,
That's good. That's a good point. And I will say, I don't remember what we said, but we probably said don't time the market. But the market did go up for a little bit after Biden was elected. Then
Oh, it
it's
did.
Coming
Oh, it did.
back down a little bit here.
Yeah, well, now you've got war, you've got
all
all kinds of issues here today.
Very complex. Okay, so that was the number one according to you. So maybe what that tells us, Dan, I guess we maybe have to do more political
or
local
more
stuff.
or more Illinois stuff.
Maybe. It's interesting. I don't know
Yeah.
if there's been a lot of new proposed legislations that I've heard about recently with Illinois, but I'm sure there are some if we do some digging.
Well, there are, I'm sure there are, and there's so many problems in Illinois. I mean, there's an endless. We could spend all of our
Well, the
Time
biggest
on
issue,
Illinois.
one of the biggest ones that I don't know if it's really out of the purview of the show is gun violence in Chicago. Gosh, we're not gonna go there. That's a tough one to tackle.
So very tough to tackle,
Yeah.
especially now.
I mean, just gun violence as a whole.
Thoughts and prayers out to the folks in
Gosh.
Texas. It's hard to swallow. I can't wrap my head around it. When it happened in Connecticut, I forgot the town. I can't think of it. It was the same thing when all those children were murdered. Katie, can you look it up?
Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook, thank you. That is exactly right. My sister-in-law actually lives there, and she said it was the worst experience in her entire life. Yeah.
Yeah. What we're going to talk, trying to brought down the mood there. Sorry about that, folks. But what we wanted to talk about next was our favorite episodes of. So that was your favorite episodes according to number of listeners over the years and clicks and things like that. So I picked out my favorite episode, and then Steve picked out his, and we wanted to share those with you. So one of my favorite ones that I talked about or helped craft, I guess, if you will, was episode 69, the crypto influencer and more money, more problems.
That was a lot of fun. That was a great topic.
Yeah,
and look at crypto now.
Well, I think that was kind of the point, right? We were in the midst of a crypto bubble, okay, and a huge influx of money into anything and everything cryptocurrency related back in sort of the early to middle parts of last year. And sure enough, that bubble has popped. There's been stories of the Terra Luna token that crashed down to zero. All sorts of things. Bitcoin's down 60% from its high.
Are you buying?
Maybe a little.
So what that means, folks, is if you have money to burn and lose, like you're at the casino playing roulette or blackjack or poker, whatever it is, if you have money to lose, then buy some Bitcoin.
Yeah. And what else did we talk about? I like that we had talked about there's more, philosophical question, does more money equal more problems? Was there any truth to that saying? And so, it was a good episode. I really enjoy, talking about unique things that are out there like cryptocurrencies. People ask us all the time what they should do with those. A lot of people are still very skeptical. I'm still skeptical of pretty much most of them. But I like to pay attention to that world, and then I always like to give little examples of things related to your money and how you should approach it.
So does more money? What did you say? More money?
I don't remember what I said. I might have said in some ways yes, in some ways no.
You're such a coward.
That's me not remembering what I said.
You're such a coward. Just say something.
If I had to guess, what did I say? I'd probably say I said.
Oh man.
No.
No? Really?
Maybe yes. I don't know.
That's called sitting on the fence, big time, folks.
Okay, how about you, Steve? Which one was your favorite episode?
My favorite episode, this is a little selfish though, is life lessons from the yacht. So there we talked about what is it, whether you're a pilot, a captain, or it doesn't matter what you are. What are the lessons you learn in whatever that you do?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about should I retire? Should I work longer? That's a big problem for folks is to determine. I can work 5 more years and maybe live a better life, or maybe I can retire now and still live the better life if I had a plan. And can you sit on your yacht and be happy for the rest of your life?
If you had a yacht.
Yeah,
I think that would be a challenge for many people.
By the way, I don't have a yacht, folks. Although
I feel like if you had a yacht, you could sit on it and be pretty happy.
Well, you're going to see some pictures right in the.
That was in the last one. I don't think we're going to resend. This was the episode, folks. If you missed it, where we sent out, we photoshopped pictures of Steve as a yacht captain, a bus driver, and a pilot.
Helicopter pilot.
And we sent out a message to you asking which version was your favorite, Steve. So I thought that was a lot of fun too.
What did we get back, Steve? Do you remember?
I think most people said bus driver Steve.
No.
Yeah, they said definitely bus driver Steve was their favorite.
I like helicopter pilot, which is really strange because I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah, bus driver it is, I think.
Bus driver. Okay, I'll be a bus driver.
Hey, it's doing good.
As long as you're a happy bus driver.
My kid's bus driver just gave him not just him. I was hoping it was just him, because he's special. But he gave all the kids on the bus, thanks for being a great kid, going away presents.
That's so nice.
Yeah, he seemed like he really enjoyed his job.
That is great. My other favorite was, this is more economic, so I love economic stuff and numbers and stuff. So this was how to customize your retirement plan. And the different ways of using income sequencing, protecting against sequence of return risk, different income strategies, different tax strategies, and how you can customize your plan to maximize the efficiency of all of those things. Efficiency meaning getting more for less. More growth for less risk, more income using less money, and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah, like a finely customized suit.
Yeah, you didn't seem very enthusiastic about that.
Well, that one was you know, that was okay.
Just okay.
I like the yacht captain, the bus driver, and the helicopter pilot more.
Yeah.
But that's
in
why
a
we
way-
that's
in a
why
way,
we try to have a little fun.
It's more fun.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah, folks, lots of different episodes. It was really hard, I thought, to pick a favorite, and you know, based on all the ones we've done, you know, each one we try to give you a lot of kind of interesting tidbits and ideas and things to talk about, and you know, little sound bites and stuff like that. So hopefully you've enjoyed the 100 episodes up to this point, and we hope to, you know, within another 2 years, if we do weekly, you know, we'll have another 100 episode for you, celebratory 200th episode in just a couple years.
I think the word 100 has more meaning to me than it does to you.
Well, what do you mean?
Whenever you say 100,
I don't. Why would that
I
be?
think about my age,
Oh, yeah,
which
I
is
knew you were
pretty.
going there.
Yeah, I was going there. You know, it's like 100.
You probably can't see this if you're listening, or even if you're watching, it might be too zoomed out. But there was the pictures of a helicopter pilot Steve, yacht captain Steve, and school bus driver Steve. Definitely school bus driver Steve, for sure.
I look happiest there.
You look very content.
Yes.
Yeah, the stress-free.
Stress-free.
You know.
In control.
All right, now we're going to do with the rest of our time here today, folks. We're going to do our blind questions. All right, so I've got 3 questions here for Steven. Steven's got 3 questions here for me. We have not pre-reviewed what these questions are, so we're going to get caught on the fly with whatever the question is, and then give you our answers.
Do you see my questions? Because I don't see yours.
That's why they're called blind questions.
So these are really blind questions.
They are blind, meaning
You know
I
what?
can't see them.
You know what? This time I'll go first.
Hey,
because
I would love
you
to.
always go first. So
Okay.
here's the first blind question.
Yes.
What is the one thing people are generally surprised to find out about you?
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing people, can it be more than one thing, or does it have to be one?
I'll give you 2.
2 things. Okay, 2 things that people are most surprised to find out about me. Well, okay. Probably the first one is that I grew up in Vermont.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People always
Yeah.
seem very surprised by that, because they say, "Oh, where'd you grow up? Did you go to school at Buffalo Grove, or did you go to Stevenson?" I'm like, "Nope, I grew up in a small town in the state of Vermont."
And you don't have that kind of small town personality.
Yeah, maybe not. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I think I tried to become very worldly, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you got a
Sophisticated.
you got a New York influence from your family.
Well, yeah. So people are very surprised to know that I grew up in Vermont.
How many people in your town?
Where I grew up was 2,500 people and no stoplights. Only stop signs. That's how small we were.
I think it's still the same today.
I think it's still the same.
And
yeah.
and how many people in your school?
Well, my graduating class had 39 kids in it,
39. Wow.
and the entire high school had 400.
Wow. So my youngest son, Lucas, just graduated high school, Deerfield High School. His graduating class had 410 people,
Yeah.
more than your entire school.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So very small. I'd say sort of related to that. The second part that people are surprised to hear is that I was a snowboard instructor. Actually, so I used to teach kids and adults, I guess, but more kids than adults, how to become snowboarders. And so people would come up. The local mountain was Okemo Mountain Resort, and I'd go there and work on the weekends from 8 in the morning to 4 p.m. when the mountain closed, and teach people how to snowboard.
Yeah,
Beginners, medium, advanced.
Folks, he also would go into the snow pipe, you know, where they go back and forth and back and forth.
Half pipe.
Half pipe, right, snow pipe. That's a different kind of pipe. Where they go back and forth, almost killed himself without a helmet.
Well, just broke a wrist. That's all.
Yeah, he was lucky he's alive.
So those are the 2 things I think I'd have to pick.
Good, excellent.
All right, you're up, mister.
All right, so mine is always that I was an opera singer.
No, you're not. You don't get the same
Oh,
question.
I thought I'd get the same.
No.
God, I had the chance to
No,
think it
this
first.
isn't your normal get to know.
Oh,
Steve,
gosh.
I got my own question for you.
Okay,
You can't prepare.
I'm nervous.
Question number 1 is, what makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
What makes me feel inspired or like my best self?
Yeah.
Wow. This is going to sound a little hokey, I guess, but it's really true. It's like when a client comes in, they're really happy and they have peace of mind, and we've got a great relationship, and they're thankful. It just lights me up.
Yeah.
It really lights me up. And it's a similar feeling to when I gave a good performance as an opera singer.
Mm-hmm.
I could feel the audience really enjoying it. And it wasn't that I was singing that was great, although viscerally singing is just a great thing to do, but it's that they were taking it in and I could move them. They were moving with me, not that I could move them. So that interaction with people and getting on the same connection that lights me up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I similarly to that, I had a client.
Oh, you don't get to answer.
No, I'm
this
not. I'm not
question.
answering the question. I'm just making a comment about your answer.
Yeah.
Is, we had sent out a video to some of you out there probably got it, to our clients about the market, updates and economy and some of the challenges the market's been having this year. And I got a number of email replies back, and many of you were just saying thank you so much for being here for us.
That was great.
We trust in you guys and the plan you've helped us build. And I do agree with you. I think that's such a great feeling when we know that you are feeling confident and trusting in the advice that we've provided to you. It's really not much better than that.
It's that human connection,
Yeah.
It's so hard to get.
Absolutely.
Because most people are kind of isolated from other people who don't trust them and so on and so on. So I love that.
Absolutely. Okay, you've got blind question number 2 for me.
Okay. Who do you look up to the most?
Oh. You picked this question, huh?
It's totally out of self.
I feel like I have to say one.
No, you really don't.
This.
You really don't.
Gosh, who do I? I don't know if I have. I'm going to answer this way. I don't think I have a specific person, and the answer I'm going to give also actually sort of encompasses you as well. But I look up to anybody that has successfully built and created and developed a very successful business. Okay, and just because being a business owner myself, I'm aware of the challenge, the difficulty at times, the hard work that goes into it, the effort we put in, and when I see some of these stories I hear about people that have launched, way bigger than our company, and we have a pretty good company here, but some of these companies that turn into Fortune 500 companies, it's just very impressive that they've been able to do that.
Well, yeah, you see these huge companies, but they started in a garage or on a napkin at a restaurant.
Well, you look at Jeff Bezos of Amazon. He started selling books, and then somehow in the machine that he's built, it boggles my mind how complex it must be to build something that you click a button on your phone and something literally within 3 hours can show up on your doorstep.
It is truly amazing. It's not perfect, but this machine is pretty wild, and it works.
And my brain is thinking about it in terms of the systems and the processes that must have had to have been developed to be that reliable and dependable. It's just impressive to me.
Yep, like FedEx, and how do millions of packages get there overnight?
Yeah, and not so much. I won't say so much like Elon Musk himself, but like Bezos and Musk's company, building these rocket ships. Yeah. I admire them trying to push the boundaries of technology. And granted, they have the billions to do it with.
Yeah,
but it's cool.
If there's a box, they want to push through the box and make it a different box.
Very neat.
Amazing. Yeah. No. Okay. Do I go again?
Well, that was your question. So my question.
Can I just go again?
Okay. Well, I have number 2 for you. No, we got to go in order here. Okay, Steve.
Yes.
What would be, if you had to have a tip to help make the world a better place, what would it be?
Make yourself a better person, and the world will become a better place.
Whoa. That was deep.
Yeah, well, you know me. I'm a philosopher, so I write poetry and all of that stuff. So look, you want to improve the world, right? But inside, you're not together inside. So how can you improve the world outside? So you got to be good inside, and when you're good inside and together inside and harmonic inside and feeling and understanding and have insight and awareness, that will change the world outside. Because if you do something out of a place of disharmony, then it creates more disharmony. So look at around the world, most people don't understand themselves, but they claim to understand the world, and I would suggest that's impossible.
Very, very interesting.
That's my book.
So, is it written yet? Can our listeners pick up a copy?
Not yet, in 6 months.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a title?
Observant.
Oh, that's a good title.
The title of the book is Observant, How to Walk a Straight Line in a Crooked World. You like
It's
it?
a crime drama?
It's a detective. It's a philosophical detective murder.
There you go.
Book.
Really combining genres there.
With a little bit of Halloween guy in there.
And a romance.
And a romance
story, of course,
right.
yes.
All right, your question.
Okay.
What is the one piece of advice you would give someone just starting out as a financial advisor? Interesting. I would ask that.
What would a piece of advice be if someone was starting out as an advisor? Well,
like if your son came to you and said, "Dad, I want to be in the business."
I've got a good one.
Okay.
You're gonna like this answer.
Okay.
You got to find a great mentor and a great company to work for.
I love it.
I think that's got to be the answer.
He's right.
You know, you got to find the right person to work with that'll really teach you the basics so that you can launch your career and accelerate your growth.
You know, isn't that true for everything though? You need a mentor or
I
coach.
did find that person. I'm talking to him.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. But you need a coach. You need someone, because we can't know everything. It's like, okay, what do I do next? It's like going to finding where your office is. You got to learn the roads. So having a good coach, like I had great coaches in the opera. You had coaches in soccer.
My soccer coaches weren't great though.
Oh.
I think I knew more than they did.
Hey, how's your knee?
It's getting better. I can at least semi-bend.
He had knee surgery 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Torn cartilage.
No crutches, folks, if you're watching. So that's good.
Yep.
All right. Last question then for you, Mr. Lewitz.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite most? Actually, one of the other questions here, maybe. No, I got to change my question then. Because I was going to ask you what's your favorite part of being a financial advisor, but it might be the answer you gave to the first question.
It is.
Okay,
It
I got to
is.
change my.
It is.
Got to change my question on the fly.
Yeah.
Okay. What does holistic financial planning mean to you when we say we do holistic financial planning?
Yeah, that's an interesting is where that word holistic comes from. So
Do I have to read your book to find out?
Not really. The book is holistic, but in my life, and for you too, and your mother we're very into holistic health. And holistic means you take the full body, and you make sure things are working holistically. You just don't say, I got to fix. I got to fix sometimes you have to fix one thing, but the whole thing has to work together. That has to do with many different things. It has to do with diet, it has to do with sleep, it has to do with quality of life, fun time, relationship, connection, conversation. All those things go into making a healthy person. So what makes a person healthy financially? All of those things in the financial world. So you have to have your income, you have to have your good portfolio has to be there, you have to have an array of products like food, different foods to choose from. You shouldn't shun one. People say, I don't eat meat. Well, sometimes it's good to eat meat. There's no perfect rule. Like people say, I don't buy annuities. Well, sometimes it's good to buy an annuity. So you don't get biased, but you get objective, and you work within the framework of the whole person.
Nice.
And I love that.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our show here. We really have been, I think, blessed to have so many of you tune in, week out for our show. We just thrilled to be able to continue to have you there and listen. It gets us jazzed up to record new episodes each week, and we'll continue to try to bring you, for the next 100 episodes, great new content, ideas, a little bit of fun, and and our goofy humor along the way. So yeah, just again, a big, wonderful thank you to you, our listeners, to you, our clients out there. As always, as I like to say, if you have any questions of any kind, give us a call, big or small, 847-499-3330, or go to our website, sglfinancial.com, click Contact Us. But last but not least, the raffle.
Yes.
Okay, raffle winners.
So what is
of $100 gift card.
What is
you must text.
What's the code word?
The code word you must text to Caitlin's phone, right, is what we're doing here, 847. Here's the number. I'm going to say this a couple times, okay? You have to text the code WIN, W-I-N, or I win, whatever you want, WIN, to Katie at 847-499-3136.
So that's
Okay.
847-499-3136.
3136, okay?
Yep.
And that's, again, the code WIN, and we're going to be giving away 3 $100 gift cards to through a raffle, okay? So you're going to have very high odds of winning because, unlike, 50-50 raffles where you're one of thousands, here you might be one of, I don't know, I'm just guessing, 50 or 100 or something like that. So yeah, got a good chance of walking away with $100 to celebrate our 100th episode.
Can you and I apply?
I'm texting Katie. My name is John.
Somebody.
So, all right, guys. Again, WIN. Text the code WIN to 847-499-3136. You have to put in there your name. Okay. Make sure you say what your name is also. Or else Katie is because she's just gonna get your phone number and then she's just gonna text back, "Hello, what's your name?"
What's
Because
your
I don't
name?
have your name.
Who are you?
So yeah, code WIN plus your name to 847-499-3136.
Folks, one text per person, please.
Yeah, Katie, get 100 texts.
Yeah. You cannot multi-text.
All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. And we look forward to the next 100 episodes with you on the show.
Stay well, everybody. Thank
care.
you. That was fun.
Woo. Katie got wave to the camera. Bye, guys.
Oh, no, I didn't wave.